Let me talk to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'm Matt. Good to have you here. This is Let Me Talk to You, the show on Assemble. We're going to talk about Christian and Adam Copeland, AEW. We're also going to talk about AEW and NXT going up head-to-head next week and how the shows are stacked. But I do want to talk mostly today about Christian, about Edge, the segment, the whole promo of Adam Copeland coming in, how it all kind of felt. And then, overall thoughts of Dynamite. Roderick Strong, the pre-tape segment with Adam Cole was phenomenal. But the main thing that we are going to talk about is going to be the Go F Yourself from Christian Cage. Off the bat, so this is the main event segment. Man, did I feel like I was watching WWE. And I don't mean that disparagingly. I really, really liked this segment overall. Here's the thing. Overall, loved it. I thought it was really well put together. The one thing I really notice is Edge may not be everyone's favorite wrestler of all time, right? That's fine. I think we can all respect what he's done. Some people really, really like him. I really do enjoy Edge's work. I always have. I've never thought of him as like the ultimate mega WWE star. But he's just always been a great wrestler, great at storytelling, and I've just enjoyed his work for the almost 30 years. It's funny to watch Adam Copeland Edge in another ring and how much he stands out amongst the rest of AEW talent. Not in terms of in-ring, but in terms of his ability to tell a story with a promo. That's the thing that stood out to me the most during the segment, even before Christian came out, because Christian just stood there and didn't do anything. Yes, Edge goes into the long-winded stories and storytelling, but the thing is, watching that, number one, you get the big... This is the thing that AEW is missing, and I wish Tony Khan would do this with his existing wrestlers. Vince Russo. It's wrestling, bro. But I wish that Tony Khan did this with the rest of his talent and not just big legend signings, the Edge, the CM Punk, and so on, bringing them in and giving them the big ultra mega treatment. You should be trying to get everyone to Edge level, right? But I really liked the Edge segment overall because it just made it felt big time. It felt like big promotion. It felt like a big deal. The entrance, the pyro, all of that. And Edge's ability, like I said, to talk, to communicate, to get emotion out of the audience. It's interesting to watch him talk for 5 to 8 minutes straight. I'm more captivated sitting there watching him. And then I immediately he's talking about his kids, his journey. He's making it real. He's talking about other wrestlers he wants to fight, like Kenny Omega that he shook hands with and met for the first time backstage. He talked about Powerhouse Hobbs, Miro, all of these different people. And it really made me feel like, wow, AEW talent really need to step up their game, and Tony Khan needs to step up his game in terms of delivering segments and promos and storylines that matter. Because with an AEW audience, they're very hardcore. They love the Bucks, the PWG style wrestling. That's what this is all kind of built off, as the alternative. But the thing that has always been missing for me in AEW is the storytelling element. We get hints of that when you have Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega, when you got Jericho in Endless Stories, but trying to tell some stories with what he's working with. You have Mox in different storylines at different points. You get even Miro, the Redeemer character, is interesting. Tony Storm's character is interesting. But what I noticed with Edge coming out and simply doing a promo and then having Christian come out, confronting him, calling him Jay, having him in the ring, it showed me that AEW is lacking the stories. And this proves that the live audience and the live crowd likes it, wants it, embraces it. It can't just be matches, bro. It can't just be matches for the sake of matches. Matches to have a good wrestling match. Because they're all, like, they can all wrestle. And the thing that is missing is I don't need WWE style stories, but I need more depth. And within AEW, with Edge coming in and this segment alone, yeah, there's history, but like so many wrestlers on the AEW roster can have and do have history. And they might touch on it briefly, but then it's just, let's have a match. This is clearly set up to give you months and months, maybe a year of a story. And this is the thing that I miss with AEW and what I want so that I can enjoy like both programs. Edge's segment, Adam Copeland's segment was all geared towards his journey from maybe retiring to talking to his family, trying to decide whether he was going to come in or not and do this. And he's here and he's excited to who he's going to face, who he wants to face, but he needed to talk to Christian Cage. He needed to talk to Jay and basically wanted to get him back on his side and again, the seeds that are planted here in one segment are awesome. Not to mention just the facial expressions alone with Christian to bring you in as a fan, as a viewer, to captivate you to go, what's he going to do? It had me watching. I was interested. I wanted to see what was going to go down. And Edge talking to him like a brother, wanting him to come back from the dark side and be like, be my tag team partner. Let's have tag team matches against the Bucks, against FTR. And again, those seeds being planted by Edge to say, like, we need to do this. The fans going crazy for all of it. And then Christian, and by the way, one thing I do want to note, I really want Christian to get a new belt. Christian is top level heel for me. Top level performer right now. He is top of the top for AEW. And I think not only because of the whole recent run he's been doing with the turtleneck, I mean, ever since he became heel, it's just been progressively getting better and better and better with Christian. I think his match against Darby, putting aside Adam Copeland's debut, the match with Darby was excellent. It was hard. It was hard hitting. And the media scrum, the press conference stuff is just next level. Contrast seems super high on his new camera. Yeah, Scott, it's a stock lens on it, so the contrast is like really high. I even turned it down. So I was like, I gotta play with that some more, but don't worry. But I want seeing this go down and then Christian telling him to go F himself as he tries to hug him and then just walking out. And I want Christian to get a new belt because the TNT title, he's literally like cupping it under his arm. So I want him to get like a nice big TNT title. But the storytelling, guys, that they have within all of this is amazing. You're going from Christian mixing it up with mid-carders and doing this whole thing. And I feel like Christian is kind of also plateaued in terms of the division he is in, where he doesn't have any more opponents. He did the Jack Perry thing multiple times. He's had the match with Darby. I'm sure without Edge, they could find something else. But now you have this huge baked-in story that I feel is going to last months, if not a year, they could tell easily. And in between stuff, you can have these twists and turns where you can end up having Miro versus Edge, like having Edge on Collision as well, having these matches where you can go up against Andrade and Miro and Buddy Matthews to see what he can do. And then mixing it up and having like pay-per-view level matches against Kenny Omega. The storytelling in this was top-notch, guys. It got me excited. All of AEW Dynamite tonight was not top tier. It's the 4-year anniversary. I don't feel like it delivered as a... It had some peaks, but it's just the thing that is lacking. And again, this main event promo showed me was they're lacking storytelling. They're not lacking stars. They're just not doing the story piece. My hope is that Edge is filling the spot of the CM Punk in maybe a more positive way. What I mean is, maybe, hopefully, with Edge alone coming in, Punk, for all accounts, seemed like he was going to have Collision on his own island, and be the gatekeeper of who can come on his show and work with him and do his style of wrestling and his show. And that's too much of a divide. And then wanted to dish out his own advice to people, etc. That's all the word out there. I feel like someone like Edge, Adam Copeland coming in, is much more diplomatic and can give good advice to a lot of talent and to Tony, if there is that, to be able to say, hey, you might want to try this. You might want to try this. Because look at these two giving some of the best promo work, Christian alone, giving the best promo work where fans are captivated, they're entertained, they enjoy it. He's like the worst human being in the world. And so when he turns face, it's going to be incredible. And this whole story arc, you can see it in one segment. It's going to be the journey of Adam trying to pull back Christian and get his brother back. Christian is so far in the deep end of the dark side. It's Edge's job to go through this journey to try to get him back. And then you're going to get the tag run. And that's what has me super excited. You're going to get Luchasaurus next week, which again, right off the bat when they announced... See, this is the little mistake that I think Tony Khan made. I know he wanted to jump ahead, and because they have the Tuesday show, they wanted to announce Edge's in action. And they just said Edge versus Luchasaurus. And I think on paper, announcing that ahead of yesterday's Dynamite, I think that was a mistake. Because you're going to have the match. So people would have been like, oh, Edge versus Luchasaurus? Really? That's his first match? Why isn't he having an exhibition against Jericho or Kenny Omega? Look at Bryan Danielson came in and had like one of the best matches of the year against Kenny Omega when he came in on a Dynamite. Edge should be doing that. That's a lot of the sentiment. The story here makes sense. I'm all for it because Christian's involved. It's going to, and Luchasaurus is going to put on a decent match for him. He's Kane 2.0. It's going to be fun. They're going to tell a story. But I think Tony made a mistake by announcing it. You could have easily just said Tuesday night special edition of, what is it called now? Like title night, whatever. Tonight's the night for title night, Tuesday Night Titans. They're doing the title night for Dynamite. And you could have just said Adam Copeland is going to be in action for the very first time. Stay tuned for next Tuesday. Then you have this segment and you have these two go at it. Christian is on the ramp with Luchasaurus. Title Tuesday, there you go. He's on the stage ramp. And Christian could have said nothing like he did, or he could have said, guess what? Adam, you're going to go up against, you want to try to get to me? Like, you can go up against Luchasaurus next week. And they could have just set it up there. So I feel like they did a little bit of backward stuff. But guys, yeah. I feel this was probably top tier segments. What a great way for Adam Copeland to debut in the company, to go right for this storyline. And I feel that this will go for, you'll have the Luchasaurus match. Then he's going to go for the next match to lead to Christian. But I don't think he's going to get to Christian right away. I think you end up with 6-man tags. I think it's going to be this constant like tease where Christian's not going to let him get there. And it's going to keep waiting and waiting. Could they do the one-on-one match at Full Gear? Maybe. And if you did, I got to say, I think that you get Christian to win. Or even if Edge wins the Full Gear match, whatever it is, I think Christian still has to remain the bad guy. This is a long story. So I'm really interested to see what they do. They give us multiple singles matches for Adam Copeland. And we know it's going to lead to the Edge Christian match. But then you're going to end up with the eventual turn. And I don't think we see the turn from Christian or Edge, probably Christian going face, I don't think it happens for like 6 months. If they do it right, you end up with huge storylines that are working in AEW where you have, and hopefully Adam Cole gets healthier. If they do these segments more, these vignette stuff, that could really help things to keep them afloat. But you have something that's really over with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, MJF. I honestly feel like MJF and Roderick Strong need to have a match, and they need to play more into that versus MJF running around doing other stuff and having handicap matches. But that's one of the big storylines that they have going. This one with Christian and Adam Copeland is the hottest one they have. It really makes people forget instantly about CM Punk and all of that. And I think Tony Khan is probably like, whew, okay, we can finally put that behind us and look at our locker and hey, people are happy. We got a good thing going on right now. So you got two storylines there. I love what they're doing with Tony Storm as a character. I wish they would do more with the women's division. You also saw, and those are kind of like the main story, like characters with story. Julia Hart is interesting. Sounds like she's taking time off. But everybody else, I mean, you got like the Callis family, but that's kind of, it's starting to feel like the Bucks and Kenny literally, like they're doing the Cody thing, like they're on a Cody Island. And now you have Kenny Omega and the Callis family, and they're just doing their thing. Now, I will say that one of the more exciting things that is happening next week is going to be with Swerve. And this is what I was predicting. And you want to talk about characters, you're getting that next week. And you're getting Swerve versus Danielson. And yeah, I can't wait for this. This is what I wanted. Swerve had an excellent match at the pay-per-view. Now, what you needed to do was to keep the momentum going. Swerve is there. Swerve is like ready to go. And we're getting this next week, and I can't wait because Swerve is, again, the embassy. They are over. And when you're getting Swerve up there naturally over a year and getting out of this purgatory thing with Keith Lee, you're seeing how the crowd is responding to Swerve, and they're getting over, and he's getting over, and the group is getting over. Swerve could be going for MJF, and he's not far away. And this is exactly what I said just the other day, where I was like, okay, you got Swerve the win. Awesome. What does he need to do now? He needs to move on, and he needs matches against established main event talent. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega. He needs wins over these guys to get him to the next level. As soon as this happens, and I'm so excited they're doing this because you're getting #1 contendership for the TNT Championship, Swerve versus Danielson. Swerve needs to go over in this thing. Get Swerve the win, so then Swerve can move on. And if Swerve is going to get a TNT title shot against Christian, they might, guess what? They might put the title on Swerve. Put the TNT title on Swerve. What you do, Swerve ends up being the babyface. The Mogul MC is over. Like, over with the crowd. So get Swerve the win over Danielson. Give him a title match for the TNT Championship at the pay-per-view at Full Gear. Swerve, when I drive. It's the best thing ever. Prince Nana's dance. The dancing. It's next level. Get Swerve the win, guys. Move on to the TNT title against Christian. Let Edge have a singles match against Kenny Omega. I don't know. Like, have Edge have a Full Gear match. It's not going to be Christian. I don't think it's Christian. I think that's too soon. He does something else. Maybe he's in a 6-man with FTR. But you get Swerve to get that win. Maybe with the help of Adam Copeland. So since Christian is not going to join him, maybe he screws him over. And Christian goes nuts without having the TNT title. So now Christian can really just focus on Adam Copeland because he cost him his title. And then I want to see a Swerve title. And then we get a Swerve title run. But the problem, and again, that's where you have a lot of great characters. Now you end up with Swerve has been elevated. You've got Christian as a top heel. MJF is running around. Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, Edge. You've got really great top tier talent right there. The problem, the fear I have with all of this is how they handle Swerve after he inevitably wins the belt. Pick a belt. Because if Swerve wins the TNT title, and I hope he does, because he needs it, deserves it, needs to get up a level, Swerve wins TNT title, then what? My problem with AEW is always, then what? What's the plan after that? With baby faces especially, they build them, crescendo, they get their moment, they get their belt, and then Tony does nothing. And we've seen this with Wardlow over and over again. Hobbs getting the title. Wardlow getting the title. Guys getting the TNT title especially as the mid-card, which is just confusing, by the way. You have the international title as well, and you have a TNT title. Like, what's the pecking order here? Swerve should be going for the international title if it's more prestigious. The TNT one just flips around. But regardless, Tony Khan has the habit of, let's get the belt on the hot act, or this guy's over. It's like, well, then what are you going to do with him the week after? Well, I don't know. He's going to go up against somebody else in like a lawsuit angle, like Wardlow with Mark Sterling. It's like, what? You have all this goodwill and everything you have built with Swerve to this point. He needs to beat Danielson and then get a bigger challenge in his face. Maybe Hobbs. Swerve, winner, drive. It's the best. I love Swerve. So, guys, you have a lot going on. And Denise Salcedo, shout out to Denise, has the rundown of the card for Tuesday night and what we're going to see for Tuesday Night Titans. No, it's Title Tuesday. Title Tuesday. Title Tuesday, guys. Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus. Jay White, Adam Page, and I apologize, there's somebody else. Jay White, MJF. Great story. Go do that. Go give me Jay White, MJF. Ray Phoenix, John Moxley. I'm going to guess here that Mox is winning back the international title. Now, Mox on commentary, hilarious. Love Mox on commentary. It's never going to happen again. It's too risky, but put him on pay-per-views for commentary and it'd be hilarious. At least they can get away with it. Give the Swerve the belt. Yeah, man. The international title, I believe, is going to go back to Mox. Lost it because of the concussion. They pivoted. Phoenix is fine as an international champion, but again, is the international title, is it like world title, international title, TNT title? Is that the pecking order for belts? Swerve should be going for the international title. And I think you could have done that if Mox is healthy and gets the title off Mox. But you're going to get Phoenix versus Mox for the international title. Great. Get it back on Mox. Try to do something with Moxley. Give him a story, but I know Moxley just wants to have bloody matches. Saraya versus Shida for the title. Again, with AEW, I'm sorry. You don't know how to book your women's division. You choose not to. Tony Khan has a non-hard-on. He's got a soft-on for the women's division, where he feels like one 8-minute women's match is enough. Saraya should be knee-deep in a story with Tony Storm and doing pure character work. Not to mention all of the other women you have. And you're not doing anything with them. Saraya will retain. Then you get Powerhouse Hobbs versus Jericho. I hope Hobbs wins. You need to see him move on. We mentioned Swerve versus Bryan Danielson is also happening. You have a massive card for Dynamite. This is what Dynamite is doing now to go up against NXT. What NXT is doing. NXT is pulling out all the stops for Taboo. I'm going to call it Taboo Tuesday. Because it is essentially this as they posted it on the internet. Look at NXT next week. It's WrestleMania. God damn it. God damn it. We got Mania over here, pal. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a little bit nuts, guys, where you got so much happening right now, okay? So you got Mello versus Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman and John Cena in the respective corners. God damn it, pal. I'm not going to let this... No. We're not going to let this AEW burger place take over my wrestling, god damn it. Put them all on there. Give me Cody. Cody Rhodes is coming out too. Asuka, Roxanne Perez is happening too. God damn it. It's NXT Mania, ladies and gentlemen. It's Taboo Tuesday. It's going to be, it's overloaded. Not to mention, I'm sure Becky's going to be on the card too. I think NXT pulled something like 800,000, almost 900,000 viewers last week on Tuesday when Dom won the title back. So it's, I don't know. AEW's wrestling card looks more attractive on next week. WWE's is more of just like, we're just going to throw stars on the show. And I think that's going to get them the number. I think NXT is going to win the rating war for 1 week. I think they're actually doing 2 weeks of this. But I think NXT is going to win. Just, it's star power. You put John Cena on NXT. You put Cody Rhodes on NXT. When they have just Becky Lynch alone, you're pulling 800,000 viewers. If you're going to tell me that you're putting Paul Heyman, John Cena, and Cody, and Asuka, and maybe Becky Lynch coming on, you got a whole, like, Monday Night Raw. So I really do think you're going to have NXT win just based off of viewer. And also because the viewership for WWE is so much bigger. But I want to see AEW do more with the booking, with the roster. I want both to do well. And I think with edgy Adam Copeland coming in, you have a shot to make things better in terms of storytelling. That you can do things where you're kind of rolling into, as Tony Khan is saying, it's a new era. I hope it is. And I hope it's an era of storytelling and putting larger, longer stories together. You can have just exhibition matches because you want to have cool matches. But the problem Tony has, in my opinion, is that you are burning through every dream match possible all the time. You got Forbidden Door 2, Wrestle Dream. You've got every match type, every combination Tony Khan has ever imagined with his toys. He's having all of those matches. You're going to run out really quick because you just keep having one-on-one matches with no story. So what's the point of seeing Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson Part 2 if there's no story arc? It's just, well, yeah, we're going to have a match. I don't deny that the match is good. I don't deny that it is fantastic wrestling. But you need to build more stories to captivate viewers to come back every week to see what's going to happen. Christian and Edge, I want to see what's going to happen next. So I want to see them come out next week, and I want to see the match of Luchasaurus and Adam Copeland because I want to know what Christian's going to do. You left me wanting more. Switchblade and MJF, I want to see more. It's a cool story. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, give me that all day, every day. Great. Too bad he's injured, but great that they're keeping it going and they're not just dumping it. You got stories in there. Now, one guy I do want to talk about real quick that we did see make a return. It's Wardlow. Wardlow, ladies and gentlemen, made a comeback. I don't like this Wardlow. So Wardlow came in and beat up a jobber and got like 5 power bombs in, and that was the end of it, and just decimated the guy. Wardlow looks like he put on like 20 pounds. He's growing his hair out. I kind of feel like he's trying to, and then like he just came down, marched down to the ring, full intensity, walked right in, 5-6 power bombs, literally went out of the ropes, through the crowd, and left. I'm a Wardlow fan. I have enjoyed Wardlow's work. I've met Wardlow, so I'm kind of like a mark for Wardlow. But he's actually a genuinely nice guy. He's well-spoken. He's not like the best promo in the world, but with more reps, he can be so good. He just reminds me of a new Batista. He just needs time. When did I meet him? Last year at Rampage. So the problem is though, like, so Wardlow comes out after being gone, just off TV, and I know he's tweeted about stuff where fans have been like, it'd be great to see you on TV, and he's just like, I agree. So he's not being utilized. He has not been utilized. Now for what feels like the 10th time, they're getting they're getting Goldberg. They're getting Wardlow coming out doing squash matches. This aggravates me because he's a good talent. And again, he may be on board with this because maybe they're leading to something. What the hell do I know? But what I do know is that the guy is talented. The guy can get over with the crowd. But now you've gone back and you are putting him through squash matches again. We have already done this for 3 years with Wardlow. Now we're in the 4th year of Wardlow. I don't like his look. I like how Wardlow looked before, personally, where he did have the ponytail. He got the shave down and he got the ponytail. And he was thinner. Like, he looked leaner and taller. And because he's like, he is clearly bulked up. Like, he just looks like a barrel. Like, he's huge right now. He's getting that WWE size. That's what he's doing. And like his, I know he does a singlet, but like that singlet, and because of how big he looks and his hair, he's clearly like growing it in. It didn't all look great. I think the packaging for this didn't come off really great. I almost like, I half didn't recognize him when you look at him, where I'm like, is that Wardlow? He looks like a different dude here. And good, he's changing his look. He's trying new things. But I just feel like with AEW just being like, here's Wardlow, go out there and go have a singles match and dummy some jobber and walk out of there. I wonder if like backstage it's like, okay, so what's where am I going? Like, what are we doing next? Oh, we'll see you next week and we'll have you do it again. It's like, no, the crowd has done this. And then you've tried to give him stories and you start and stop so much with Wardlow. And it makes me sad because I'm like, the guy's talented and he can get over and has gotten over the crowd, and they just keep start and stop with him. I really feel at this point, people that you're going to see jump ship from AEW to WWE is going to be some of this original talent that have basically done what they can in AEW and are not going to go. Wardlow is not going to get to the championship level. His closest moment was going to be with the fallout of MJF. That was the time where you could have put and did put the TNT title on him, but did nothing. You should have put Wardlow up into the main event scene to see how he would do. Put the title on him for 2 months while he's hot. Who knows? The MJF gets it back. You flip-flop titles every week. But that was the time where you had that lightning in the bottle, where you had that evolution-style moment of Batista Triple H and they turn on each other. You had that with Wardlow and MJF, and I feel like they fumbled it, and then they continue to fumble him. Wardlow is one of those guys that I'm like, I'm kind of waiting to see if he's going to grow his hair out, or he's going to get it long, he's going to take 3 months off, and he's going to end up in NXT in January. Jamie Wright in the chat says he looks like the Penguin here, and I totally agree. Batman! No, Wardlow! JC also says in the chat that AEW, he's been there since the beginning, so they can't just be doing random squashes. And I agree. At this point with him, you can't just be doing that. Guys, let's look at some super chats. Thank you very much. I didn't forget. I just want to be able to get all that stuff out. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are joining us live, you can support the channel just like you can if you're watching on demand. You can hit the like button. It's super easy. It's free. It helps the channel. It helps us expand and grow. That's what she said. Fiendish FBE says, heard that Cena versus Reigns will happen at Crown Jewel. Also, I heard there will be a major surprise at Crown Jewel. Could be The Rock, but I don't think so. I'd be kind of surprised. I'd either say Cena Reigns or LA Knight Reigns for Crown Jewel. Maybe LA Knight. Be a big match. For The Rock, I don't see The Rock coming in at Crown Jewel. I don't think he's going to Saudi Arabia. And Slamtastic with the $5 support for the first time celebrating Super Chat. First time. Slamtastic, thank you very much for your support. And thank you also for being in the Discord for the community. Chatting it up in there, being positive, being beacon of light, positivity. Barry Allen says in the chat, do you think that The Rock will steal Cody's place and win the Chamber? I don't think The Rock will do a Chamber match. I think the Rock-Roman match will just be something they announce. I don't think Rock would wrestle before WrestleMania. But for talent, guys, that we're talking about for AEW going over, hit me up in the comments and the chat of who you think is going to go over when the contract's done. To me, I do see the likes of Wardlow being done. Like, at this point, if he's just going to be sitting there being like, okay, I am, for the person, if he's like, okay, I haven't had TV time in forever. I don't watch Rampage. Maybe he's on Rampage every hour. I don't know. But he's not on anything else. He now basically comes back to TV for the 400s, for the 4th year edition. Kind of one of the originals. Wardlow comes in. Squashes guy. Just like we've seen every time. I gotta feel like the man himself has got to feel like he's hit a wall and that he's not going to break past this. This is what AEW and Tony Khan see him as, is this big spot guy, can't do anything with. We've tried different approaches and we don't know what to do with him. If that's where he's going to be and just perpetuating in this thing, and he's in purgatory, he's in squash match purgatory, I think Wardlow, the guy, needs to exit. I think he's somebody that could just go on an indie run. I mean, he would do great in Impact, but I think he's so young and huge and can do some insane moves. Guy does swantons and hurricanranas. I think he's perfect for a WWE system. I think he's somebody that Vince and Triple H would look at if he's got a good attitude and professional. Put him in NXT. He's not somebody like a Jade or a Cody or anything like that that can come into WWE and get main roster treatment. I think Wardlow goes to NXT and is a big deal. Gets the North American title, gets the NXT title. A year and a half in, he goes to main roster. And he ends up on Raw. And you rebuild him. So I think you can, if he is doing this where it's like he's beefing up, he's getting more tanned, he's growing his hair out, get it long, and he looks more grizzled. Take 3 months, get your notice, don't re-sign, take 3 months off of your 90-day non-compete, relax, go to the gym, get insane, get jacked, go to WWE, and go to NXT. Learn in the WWE system, and Wardlow could be at WrestleMania on the WrestleMania card in 2 years, 3 years. He'll get over. As long as they treat him right, but WWE would give more stories. The other guy that I could see totally going is going to be Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks is somebody similar. He's had better, more opportunities in terms of storylines, but Ricky Starks is another guy where I'm like, okay, Ricky, I think you've done everything that you can do that you're going to be able to do in AEW. You've gotten as far as they're going to go with you, because I don't think it's a limit on Ricky. I think it's AEW and Tony just not going to put him into the main title mix. He's got like the matches with Danielson. He can work great as a heel. He can work great as a face. He's amazing on the microphone. He's over with the crowd. Ricky needs to go to NXT. Give me Ricky Starks versus Mello versus Trick versus Braun Breaker. Give me those matches tomorrow. Ricky in NXT for a year. Put him on main roster. And you've got a next level talent. So, and then you're looking at guys like potentially Wardlow, Ricky Starks. You got Pillman just signed with WWE. So toss Pillman in there as part of the crop. You've got enough talent. And there's probably more. And then I'd like to see like a Jamie Hayter and whoever else you can get. But if you give me a couple, 3 to 4 AEW talents that you can mold in NXT, throw Pillman in that mix too. Like if I got Pillman, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, maybe someone from the women's division, you've got future talent. Then you look at what your talent pool looks like in WWE in 2 to 3 years, and you're looking at Jade, maybe Ricky, maybe Wardlow, Pillman, main roster talent, going up against legends of a almost retired Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins. Because WWE's got to be, and then there's MJF as well, who could be up in 24. Maybe he re-signed. Rumor is MJF did re-sign, but no one discloses or knows what that means. He may have signed a 6-month extension, guys. He may have not re-signed anything. And Tony just gave him money. Nobody knows. MJF, I think, eventually just makes it to AEW. But yeah, I think we got some good stuff here. And also, go F yourself. So yeah, guys, I think the edgy Adam Copeland was awesome. But we do got news coming in right now that another star from AEW suffers concussions. Please stop AEW getting concussed wrestlers. Sammy Guevara isn't appearing on television due to a concussion he recently suffered, with no indication of a future date. On the October 4th episode of Dynamite, Don Callis announced Guevara was not medically cleared to wrestle. This led to Takeshita teaming up with Kyle Fletcher to take on Jericho and Kenny Omega. Yeah. More concussions. By God. By God. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up the recorded edition of Let Me Talk to You. But stay in the chat with me as we're live, because we're going to hang out for a little bit. We'll do our thing. But if you guys did join us, let me know your thoughts on edgy Adam Copeland, Christian, Dynamite, Taboo Tuesday, I'm calling it, next week. Who's going to get the big ratings pop? Is it going to be WWE NXT? Is it going to be AEW? Ratings wars are back, ladies and gentlemen. Too sweet. Subscribe to the channel. Do those good things. Thanks so much.
Let me talk to you.